All right, so the whole point of today's symbolism project, instead of a quiz, is to for you to show me what symbols are to you. Instead of just saying like, hey, what's the definition of a symbol? And it doesn't make any sense to have you guys memorize what the symbols mean for like red, green, blue. That doesn't help. It's a lot better if you can apply it to yourself. And so that's why we're doing today's quiz differently than normal. So what I'm looking at right now is the actual quiz when you click on it. Just like usual, your quiz is at the bottom of the week. So this module is week 12. So you would just click on Coat of Arms project for quiz 12. It's not in a quiz format. It's in a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's in like an activity format. But it's going in your quiz grade. I don't know why I keep looking to the right, because I keep looking over at you guys. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this. So there are 3 pages in the assignment and they look like this. This is page 1, this is page 2, this is page 3. Page 1 is your information. It's where all your instructions are, and then some definitions of heraldic colors, animals, and symbols. So let's go up here, and page 2, I need you to fill in. This is half the credit for your quiz. So the quiz today is 50 points. So you get 25 points for this, 5 points for each one that you fill in. And then you get another 25 points for this, 5 points for each part. So, and one of those parts is color. So let's go ahead and look at everything individually together. So read the instructions on page 1. 2, you can use the heraldic symbols for colors, animals, and symbols, or you can use the traditional symbols for the colors and things that we learned this week. It doesn't matter to me how you use it, as long as you're able to explain it on this page right here. So mine are a mix. Mine are some, I used heraldic colors for mine, and I kind of did that because I wanted to do like lancers. So I'll show you that in a second. And then I also used a heraldic symbol, but then I also used regular symbols too. So you guys can mix it up just like I did, as long as you explain it. So instead of me writing it out, I'm going to explain it how I would want you guys to write it out and explain it to me. Number 3 says each question on page 2 of the assignment must be explained out and written in complete sentences. That's a big one for me, guys. If you don't write in complete sentences, you're no way getting not extra credit. In no way will you be getting full credit. You need to answer in complete sentences. Make sure that in each one of those, you tell me what symbols you chose and what they mean to you. So you might have chose more than one symbol, and you might not have chose more than one symbol. So here's the thing. If you choose more than one symbol for each one, I'm probably going to give you extra credit because I'm only requiring one symbol per thing. So this is very much a project or a quiz where you can earn extra credit. If you put in the extra time and you're doing more than one thing, then I am going to be appreciative of that because it's more work. But you have to do at least one for each part. So you have to have at least one answer in each one of these, and it needs to be reflected on your actual coat of arms. This thing right here looking like a shield, that's a coat of arms. So I went through a lot of different ways that we could do this, and this is the way that I chose because you could be the most creative with it. There are actually like a bunch of online places where you can create a coat of arms online, but you could only choose from their symbols. And if I personally didn't want to use their symbols, I didn't want to force it on you guys. If you decide, hey, I'd like to go use this and create one there and then upload a picture, that's fine too. But that's going to be something you're going to choose to do on your own instead of coloring it here. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be much more personal if you do it the way that I'm showing you. And then number 4 says the coat of arms on page 3 must be fully colored and have the symbols you referred to on page 2 of this assignment. You may color it in using the drawing option on PowerPoint or Google Slides. I'm going to show you how to do that. Or you can print it out and color it in manually and then cut out your pictures and glue them on there, which is going to take longer, but it's up to you. A lot of you guys like to handwrite things and send me pictures. That's okay. Or I don't always include a PDF version, but I did for this one. If you have a school iPad, you can actually put it in your iPad and then in pictures, click markup and then color it in with your finger and then drag things in. That's only going to work on an iPad. So I happen to have you can use your fingers, obviously, but I happen to have an Apple Pencil, and so sometimes my kids do things with that, or you can use a regular stylus. Again, whichever way you're more comfortable with, that's the best way to do that. Let me say this again. Whichever way you are more comfortable with completing this project, that is the best way to do it for you, okay? I'm gonna show you some tricks in PowerPoint to help make this a little easier and make it look cleaner. Okay, so it's not a lot, but I wanna see your creativity and I wanna know where your symbols come from. So here's the PowerPoint link, here's the Google Drive link, and here's the PDF. Open whichever one is easier for you to access and use. And then down here, I did a sample coat of arms. And again, I did mine in about 20 minutes, and I'm telling you the hardest part was one, coloring, which I'm gonna show you how to do that, and two, it's inserting pictures, but it's really not difficult. So I'm going to show you a big trick, how I made sure that there was no like white parts on the outside, and inside PowerPoint, it does it right there. And you guys all have access to PowerPoint free. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So go ahead right now and open up whichever one you're usually more comfortable with, your PowerPoint, your Google copy, or your PDF. I'm going to open the PowerPoint because I have it on my desktop. Hang on just a sec. I'm going to open it up for us. Okay, so here is mine. Now I'm going to show you, hold on just a sec. Let me save this before I accidentally delete it. So I tried a bunch of different ways, and this was the easiest way to do it. So here's a blank one. See how I chose green and yellow for a reason. So if you go in here and you look, we've got like our green that we went over that's traditional would be like earth, eco, things like that when we're talking about today's logos. But if you look in the heraldic symbolism, green actually means hope, joy, and loyalty. And that's me a lot. I'm very much about loyalty, and I'm always hoping for better things. And then yellow and gold is generosity. I like to help people a lot. And so that's why I did it. And I did it for that. And I also did it because I'm a Lancer and we're green and gold at school. So it was perfect for me. So when you go into my sample, you'll see that I put green across and yellow up and down, yellow or gold, same thing. And then the way you color it is in here, is you go to draw, and then you can click on any one of these and change the color. So the last color I used was purple for my motto down here. So say you like red, you would click on this highlighter. The highlighter for me, I found to be easiest because it's the fattest one and you can change it, but you could do the pen if you want to too and change how fat you want it up here. You could even say you wanted it to be gold. Look, it colors in gold, and you can change how fat you want this and do the whole thing and make it look really pretty gold. Okay. See how I'm literally just holding down the mouse with one of my buttons and then coloring with the other. And I'm just coloring it in like I would if this was a marker. This is actually really pretty. I wish I would have seen this earlier, but totally up to you how you do it. See how it doesn't overlap? Now, the only thing is, like earlier, I was like, oh, I made a mistake and I wanted to erase out here. When I click that, it erases the whole thing. It's not a lot of work, but try to be pretty neat when you're coloring it in, especially if you're using your fingers like I am. So I preferred to use the highlighter because I kind of like them a little bit more subtle. And let's say instead that I chose like this blue. So the cool thing is it's a highlighter. So if you go over it like that and then you go over it again, it's going to keep getting darker and darker and darker. But I found a trick. So I'm going to erase this. If you hold down and don't let go and just keep coloring, it will make the whole thing even. And this is what I mean. If I keep going over it and I'm still holding it the same as I'm coloring, see how I keep going all the way back over, but it's not overlapping. It's just making the same thing the whole color. And you just have to make sure you kind of stay in the lines. And as long as you hold it down with one finger on the mouse while you're drawing, it will not overlap it. But you don't have to use the highlighter option. I just happen to like it a little bit more muted for my personal taste. But see how I did that? And now there's no overlapping and it's 100% solid. And it looks good. But if you go down here and you look at mine, see how I started off with green, and then I went back over it and you kind of see it darker right there in this crafting box. That's because I didn't learn that until after. So here's this one. Then if you want to change colors, so I would normally go these two the same and these two the same, but you can change it up however you want as long as you explain your colors. So say you want, I don't know, pink on the other side. You could do whatever you like. And I'm just going to color in two of these as an example. And again, all I'm doing is holding down my finger on the mouse while I drag my other finger around to make sure that I'm not overlapping the color, because I don't like the way that looks. I'm pretty sure that if you use the marker, it's not gonna overlap, or you could do like one of those textured ones like I showed you, like the gold if you like, and fill that whole thing in like that. But you do have to physically sort of quote unquote color it in. I tried to match the shapes and that wasn't working, and this was the easiest option. Now, I don't want to color anymore. So you need to make sure you unclick draw so that you have a arrow. If you notice right here, I have an arrow again, and if I click on anything, I'm not drawing anymore. If it still had that little rectangular pink, I would still be drawing. So you need to make sure you clicked off of draw. Okay, if you want to add in a picture, let's say I'm going to look at this list. All right, so I'll go over mine. I looked at the list here and I was like, okay, which animal am I? And it was really funny to me because bear is protective. And even at school, like Miss Weber calls me Mama Bear because I will fight to the death. Like if it means for like the students, or if somebody did like the school wrong, I fight like hotels and stuff all the time when it comes to like field trips, and I'm crazy if somebody like goes after my kids. So I'm definitely a mama bear, and bear it meant protectiveness. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be funny and put in a mama bear. So let me show you how I did that. Let's go into, let me stop share and then screen share so we can just go into Google. So when you go into Google, let me move this out of the way. Say instead that I'll just look for a different bear, okay? So let me just put in bear and then images. And then these are cool, except I want one that doesn't have much of a background. These are all real. So instead I'm gonna go for, let's see what bear drawing looks like, or bear clip art. All right, this one's really cool. It actually looks a lot like the logo from some of our universities. So I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to right click and click copy image. And then I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint, and I'm going to put Command V or just paste it in. And you notice right here, there's white, all right? And I don't want white in my background, and you can do this with any color. This is a really cool trick. If you click on here and then you click on picture, hold on, I want this out of the way. I clicked on picture format, then go to color and click set transparent color and click on the white. And now the white is gone. All white in the picture is completely gone. Now you can put your animal wherever you want. On this one, I put my animal over here, but just as a sample, I'm gonna put my bear here, and my bear is for protectiveness. And then so if you look in here, you've got to include these things. Number one is a symbol or picture to represent an important place. Number two is a symbol or picture to represent a hobby or an activity. Number three, an animal that represents you. Number four, any other symbol or picture that represents you. And number five, include a personal motto. So if you look here for places, I went ahead and I was born in Ohio and I visited Ohio like every summer. Almost all of my family is in Ohio, except for like my mom. So I put Ohio here, although I am a California girl. And then this is actually a symbol from Germany because most of my heritage is German. So I put both in, and I did the same thing. If you went in here and say like Mexico, so if my husband was doing it, he would probably put Mexico as a place. So I'm going to look up Mexico, and then I'm going to look up Mexico logo. because I kind of like the way those look. So I think he would pick something like, actually, he would probably pick something like that, to be honest with you. He likes these eagle things. So I'm going to copy this image, and then I'm going to take it and put it inside my PowerPoint. I'm going to show you guys one more time how to get rid of the background color. So see how big this is? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reshape this. And I don't really mind if you guys have watermarks in there. It's not really going to show up too much. So make sure you don't have white like I do here and that you've colored in all four and your motto thing down here. But one more time, if you click on your picture, it's automatically going to highlight picture format. Go ahead and click on that tab, and then you go to color, scroll down to set transparent color, and click on the white. And you notice all the white is now gone. And you could put this anywhere, even if you don't like, say I want to put it here, but I don't like that it's facing to the left. You can actually click right here and say flip horizontal, and then I made the eagle face a whole different way. So PowerPoint is super cool in that way. And I had just learned the transparent, getting rid of the white. I used to do it all by hand, but that is a very neat trick. If you've got a mostly solid background color, you can get rid of all that stuff just by going in here one more time, clicking picture format, color, set transparent color, and then click on the color you want to get rid of. Okay, guys, the last part of this is to just put in your words, and you can use word art if you want, which is what I did down here. I just it was basic, it's what's in there, but you don't have to. You literally can just click in here and start typing. And then you highlight it if you want to change. I think most of you guys know this, but you can change your font to whatever you want it to look like. I have a bunch of crazy fonts in here, but say, you wanted yours to be like, be the change you want to see in the world. So if you want that, you could highlight the whole thing and then change your font and then maybe like make it a little bigger. And then this would fit in there. And then if you want to make sure it's in the center, you just click right there and it will center it for you. All right. So I want you guys to be as creative as you can and just use those tips that I showed you. Again, you don't have to use PowerPoint. You can use those tricks on your iPad and then drag your pictures over. Those are just some ideas for you. So